One running back is Fontenot. They give it to him. It's the flea flicker. Set to throw. Montez downfield. Katie Nixon. He makes the grab with the 45. Gets away from the defender. KD at the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! 96 yards! Snap, put down. Stefano's kick. It is on its way, and it bisects the uprights. And a 49-yard field goal by Isaac Armstrong. Snap, put down. Kick is up. It's on its way, and it is no good! The Buffs win! Well, that 96-yard flea flicker certainly was a great play. Montez to Katie Nixon, who went over 100 yards for the touchdown. But the ending was hard to beat. James Stefano with a 34-yard field goal to win it in overtime, and then the 49-yard miss by the punter for Nebraska. And then the fans stormed the field. A phenomenal finish to this ball game. If you would have asked a lot of people down 17-0 at the half, not many would have believed the Buffaloes were going to come back. Hi, everybody. Mark Johnson, voice of the Colorado Buffaloes. The great Jeff Campbell, Soupy, joining us here. He was with us in the booth in this one. Gary Barnett was under the weather. How do you want to put a postscript on that one?
Boy, I'll tell you, when they needed to take risks, they took them. We did a flea flicker from the 5-yard line. We talked about what that needed, right? In big games, you got to take some risks. They did, but I'll tell you, we had some young kids step up today. They're going to be more confident going into the rest of the year. It's just such a fun game to watch.
Steven Montez becomes the first quarterback since Darrin Hagen to go 2-0 against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He's won each of the last couple of years. Of course, Darrin Hagen, 89 and 90. Those are pretty good teams for the Buffaloes. You and I talked in the pregame. We went back, we were reminiscing about the 86 game, and Soup was on that team, 20-10. The Buffs snap an 18-game losing streak. You guys made a statement. It was a stepping stone. I wonder a little bit, not the same context. Nebraska's not a top 5 team, but yet they were number 25. If this could be a stepping stone for this team.
Oh, absolutely. I think, and every year in a situation where you need to get a program from one level to the next level, it's all about confidence, about learning how to win. And I think what Mel's instilled in this group is the ability to understand what it means to finish. What we had in 86 was that same thought process. We knew that we had a dogfight on our hands until the last quarter. We made some big plays in that game, and that took our program to the next level.
One game is a moment. 2 games, I think, kind of becomes a trend. We've seen this team be a better second-half team. Adjustments, effort, the way they played, execution. That says something about what this young staff is doing for Mel Tucker.
It really does. It shows the character of the group that they have, the character of the kid that they have. The win today was all those hours and hours that they spend by themselves working out in the weight room, all the things that they do from a mental standpoint. And it worked.
Yeah. 34-31, the Buffs win in overtime, knocking off Nebraska for the second year in a row. Air Force is coming to town next week. We're going to continue talking about this one. It was a who's who of Colorado football on the sideline. Everybody was there enjoying this one in the locker room afterward. And we caught up with a great linebacker for the Buffaloes from a few years ago, Akarika Dawn.
Great atmosphere. If you're not here, I'm sorry for you. This is amazing. And people being happy about this game, I couldn't ask for more. It was interesting. I have an 11-year-old son, and I showed him the video of me playing, and it brought almost tears to my eyes. It means everything. People don't know how much this meant to us as a program. There's nothing like it. CSU is fun, but this is the meat and potatoes. So I'm glad we're back for this, and I'm glad to be back for it. And to have this game back here, it's amazing. It's so good to see all these other guys that I haven't seen in years, and it's like we never miss anything. What these field meant to me, what my time in university meant to me, and so to be back in the university and have this such access and warmth, it's the best thing ever. So I'm so glad I'm here, and hey, go Buffs.
Yeah, Akarika Dawn was as happy as all the alums out there. We got one of the alums right here, Soupy. Jeff Campbell was in the booth for Gary Barnett, who was under the weather. This team, and I've had a tough time in the postgame. We're talking about who was the player of the game in this one. I don't know who to give. I think we gave it to Buff Nation, the entire defensive staff, the defensive unit. We can give it to Katie Nixon. There's so many guys who contributed in this ballgame.
Oh, there's so many of them did. It really would be hard to give it to anybody because there were guys that stepped up in big situations all over the field. And when you have that, if they're going to double a guy like Chenault, and then your other receivers need to step up, all 3 of them did.
Tony Brown is a guy that every week I think almost gets overlooked because you got Laviska Chenault, one of the better players in America. Katie Nixon is an NFL-level wide receiver, and there's so many guys. You kind of forget about Tony, and every week he just shows up and makes huge plays like he did today.
It's that group. It's that group that's going to be the most important group as we move ourselves through the season here because they'll get better. The other guys, arguably, Chenault's the best player on the field on offense, right? Yep. But you had some guys take some big steps today.
Mustafa Johnson is a guy that showed himself a year ago. He's an all-conference guy. He had the sack at the end that put Nebraska in a tough position. Ended up being a 49-yard field goal attempt. That guy, he's a little undersized, but he always makes plays. Got a motor that never stops.
Undersized is a good thing.
Says this guy.
Absolutely, and he did, right? And we started to get pushed from those front four late in the second half. When you go into overtime, you need those guys to step up their level, and he did.
All right, next we got the Air Force Falcons coming to town. That's not an easy preparatory game with that offense coming here next week.
No, they're a nightmare to prepare for. It's an option-based offense. It's all predicated on the fullback and the quarterback. They've got very, very fast guys on the outside. It'll be a rough week of practice.
I made this comment in the postgame. I want to make it here on the show as well. Last year, Scott Frost mismanaged the end of that ball game. I thought Nebraska lost, and Colorado would make plays, and they did, and give them credit for that. This year, I thought Colorado came in the second half and took that game from Nebraska.
They did. They made some adjustments at halftime that took their level to a whole different zone. I mean, I think Colorado came in, they made the right adjustments. They made some tight coverages and did good.
All right, will you come back again?
I would love to.
All right, there's Soupy Jeff Campbell. That was a great game. He was jumping up and down in the booth like he was 22 years old again. It was unbelievable. He's going to have to go and you better get in the cold tub. Get in the cold tub. Hey, coming up next here in the Stampede after the Buffalo's overtime win 34-31 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers in OT. We're going to talk to Tim Lynott, one of the big fellas up front who is battling all day long in the trenches. That's next on the Stampede. To Jared Mangum, runs the right side, turns the corner to 5-yard line, steps out of a tackle, and into the end zone goes the freshman. The Motor City product was Motor in that time. And a goal to go on first down. They handle up to Mangum on the right side. He's got a big hole, and he waltzes in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! Touchdown number 2 for the freshman, Jared Mangum. And back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. I think you know the big fella here, Tim Lynott. He was out there battling in the trenches as the Buffs in overtime took care of Nebraska 34-31. A heck of a comeback. I bet my guess is you're never going to have more fun in a ball game in the post game than you had in that one.
You know, I thought that was one of the best games I've ever played, and it was the most exciting for sure. You know, getting into that overtime, we knew we were going to go after him, and we knew that we were better conditioned and everything. Coach Tuck, he pretty much put that in summer. He was like, we're going to make sure that we're most physical and best conditioned, and that translated into the game. You know,
great. Tim, you say that, and I go back to Mel talking about the expanded conditioning, 9 weeks during the offseason, and promising this team was going to be the most well-conditioned, toughest, strongest football team you made all season long. 2 weeks in a row, we've seen you guys play well in the first half. Maybe could have played better, but the second half seemed to start to dominate then. That's got to be a result of that offseason, right?
It definitely is. You know, we conditioned every Friday. We had quarters. I don't know if you guys know about those. The conditioning test, and every time we'd have overtime. And I think that translated over to the game, too. And I kept telling the guys that, you know, we did four quarters every Friday, and we did overtime each time. This is what's going to happen. This is why we're going to win this game, because that's how we're going to have the advantage over these guys, and that's, I believe, really what happened.
Explain what quarters are, because it's about this far away from being cruel and unusual punishment, isn't it?
It's pretty much punishment. It's pretty much sprints, shuttles, and it's like 6 reps per quarter, and you get like 2 minutes in between each quarter, and it's one of the worst things you could do, but it definitely helps, and it definitely translated into the game, and I truly believe that.
When you think about your prior season, do you feel stronger late in the game than you did previously?
Yes, you know, I didn't feel as tired as this game as I did in, like, say, last year or something. You know, last year I was kind of coming off an injury, too, and it was really hard to come back from that, and I definitely had some little kinks in my leg and everything, and it was bothering me, and I just didn't feel great. And that, if I had to do that then last year, it'd be more tough, I guess you could say. But this year, I think our team's way better conditioned, way stronger, and I think that's what got us through the game and helped us win it. So.
We're going to talk more with Tim about the Nebraska victories. The Buffs now to get set to take on Air Force. By the way, on the sideline, it was a who's who of former Buffs. Matt McChesney was out there. Sean Tufts was out there. We caught up with both of them.
It's amazing. Last year in Lincoln was phenomenal. Obviously getting the W, but sold out to the brim. Even though there's a lot of red, I don't care. They can travel great. The more they come to win this, the better.
All these red shirts came here and they're all going home. And that's fine, because they're going home no matter what, but they're going home with a loss.
It's incredible. I mean, this is why a lot of these guys came to the University of Colorado to play in this game and win. That's why I came here. This group knows how to do it.
My biggest memory against Nebraska is coming off the field, being up 28 points, and saying, is this real? Commit to him on the bench, and having to calm down, refocus, and go finish the game. Because we always start hot against this team. Finishing is important.
Great to see those former Buffs out there. Continue with Tim Lynott as we talk about the Buffs' victory over Nebraska last week. Boy, those alums, by the way, were getting on you guys and trying to kind of pick you guys up too, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. You know, a lot of the alums out there, and that kind of motivated us too. You know, it's just them coming back is important to us. You know, that shows how important this game is to them, and they wanted us to come out there and win the game, and we did it for them. You know, that's a big thing, and that was a big motivation for us.
Tim, what was the difference in the second half? Buffs are down 17-0 at the intermission. You missed some opportunities. I know that out there. Didn't get much going offensively. What changed in the second half?
You know, Coach Tuck and all our coaches, they're confident in the locker room at halftime. You know, they were just encouraging us and making sure, like, we got these guys, and they knew what their weaknesses were, and they made sure that we took advantage of those. So that was a big thing, and they made sure they made adjustments that we needed, and we made the adjustments we needed, and it translated out in the game. In the second half, we just became more dominant. We knew that once we scored that first touchdown, I really think that turned everything around for us. That got us our confidence back, and then made us drive the ball even more, and that's what helped us out.
How do you think this line's coming along? Buffs gave up 3 sacks, by the way, in the first half, 0 in the second half of the contest. That was a big part of why you came back. This line continues to come, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, we develop every day. You know, there's issues we're going to have. Like, first half, we had some communication issues and trying to figure stuff out because they did some stuff that we never saw. So that was a hard thing to do. But once we made those adjustments in the second half, I think we started to come together, and everyone started talking instead of just the center or the guard or something. So I think that once everyone started talking, that's when we can benefit as a line. Once people talk, communication, once we get on the same page, we're good.
How about this Air Force game this weekend? Now, you guys are 2-0. You don't want to give anything back now, and they got to go out. And that's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, you know, we respect them. You know, we respect what they do for our country as well. And but you know, they're just another team. We got to take advantage of them, and we got to make sure that we do our thing. You know, we can't take them easily because our coaches are saying don't take these guys easily. They're probably one of the better defenses and teams we're going to play this year. And it's not one of those easy games, so we just got to take them as if they're rivals. So.
All right, keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Tim Lynott, center for the Colorado Buffaloes. They're 2-0 with Air Force coming to town. Up next, receivers coach and assistant head coach Darrin Chiaverini is going to join us. Montez's snap, play action, sets the throw. He's going for the home run. Tony Brown is in the end zone, and he makes the grab. End zone, touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! Oh, what a throw! Oh, what a catch by Tony Brown! I now know what Brown can do for you. Touchdown, Tony Brown. Big one against the Nebraska Cornhuskers last week. As we continue here in the Stampede, it's the guy that coaches him. You know that, Darrin Chiaverini, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Boy, I love Tony Brown, man. He just quietly does his job, doesn't he?
You know, what's great about Tony is that he don't say much, but he just goes out there and makes play after play. And what's funny is I've been calling him Touchdown Tony Brown since his days at La Mirada High School. You know, I signed him at Texas Tech. Obviously, when I moved over here to be the coordinator, he transferred over here and sat a year, had a good year last year. And I was actually kidding with him last year because he didn't score a lot, so I used to call him First Down Tony Brown. And I said, hey, you just got your nickname back, man, Touchdown Tony Brown.
No doubt about it. He's been outstanding here the last couple of weeks. You know, I love talking to guys like you and Darrin, guys that know what this rivalry is all about. That had to be fun for you on Saturday.
It was special the way it happened, too, because we weren't playing very well on offense. You know, Steven was struggling. We were struggling up front a little bit, struggling at receiver. And then we went in halftime, made some adjustments, and we challenged those guys on the sideline. We challenged 12. We challenged the offense on the sideline. We've been here before.
Yeah.
It's not like this group has not been here before. We were in Lincoln with the same group last year. We got to go out there and make a play. They're waiting for us on defense to make a play. And so once we hit that quick one to KD and he kind of broke free, it kind of got momentum. And you could see their defense wilting under the heat. They were getting tired, and we kept applying pressure. Coach Johnson made some great calls, and the receivers went out there and made some plays. Offensive line did their job, and Steven got hot. Man.
Boy, speaking of great calls, a flea flicker from the 4-yard line.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
You got to have big ones to do that, man. That was a great call by Jay, and then great design by us, and a great, you know, it was really good, too. If you look at the replay, Steven's real smooth with it.
Yes, he
is.
I
mean, Fontenot gets it, he pitches it back, he one-hands it, and I knew Steven just didn't want to overthrow him and gave him a good ball, and KD, man, you ain't going to catch that kid in the open.
No, there's not a chance. You know, there was a little bit of contact. He just took off and ran away from him.
Yeah.
You know what I love about this team? There's a persistence, a stick-to-itiveness. I don't know how you want to equate it, but there's something special about the way this group continues, and it's trusting you guys as coaches.
It's trusting us, and it's the culture that's been set by Coach Tucker and the staff. You know, Coach Tucker doesn't change. He's the same every day. They know what they're going to get with Coach Tucker, and even when we were down 17-0 at halftime, he didn't freak out. He didn't freak out on the offense. He didn't freak out on the staff. He's like, hey, we're leaving plays out there. We got to get these guys going, be positive. And you saw the team fought back, and we were the better conditioned team. So that's hats off to Coach Wilson and his staff, because the summer workouts were grueling. And you heard the players talk about it in the post-game press conference. Katie talked about it. Nate Lamon talked about it. And that's hats off to Coach Wilson and his staff.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All the suffering those guys went through, it's paying off right now on the football field. You know, we know it's a great rivalry. These guys know it. The players know it. And certainly the fans know it. And we caught up with a number of fans in and around Folsom Field.
Well, this is going to be fun, right? If you love ball like we do, this is like nostalgic center of the college football world.
How much red do you think we see in Boulder on Saturday?
I really think, Jason, of the 50,000, you're going to see at least half Nebraska fans.
Well, we're here at the big Nebraska CU game where CU fans probably sold too many tickets.
Yeah, there's too much red here.
Way too much.
You know, my parents have lived here since the 90s, supporting that Husker rivalry, and we just are excited to bring it back today.
It's been a rivalry that's been missed by CU and Nebraska fans. Looking forward to being back this year, and hopefully we can continue for years to come.
You know, when I was here, there was a big rivalry. We always played the day after Nebraska. Having this game back here in Boulder is a big deal. All the alumni, we want this game here, and so, you know, we're here for a good game tonight.
So the rivalry is alive and well. We won last year. I was here when we finally beat them after 18 years. So we're very excited. The rivalry's back.
Last year was a really good win when the rivalry started up again. I think today I feel really confident. I think
go Buffs.
Certainly some colorful fans in and around Folsom Field as the Buffaloes knock off the Huskers by a score of 34-31. When it got down to the end of that ball game, there had to be great confidence, I think, in the sideline that, okay, we got back in this thing, it's ours.
Well, even when that last drive that Nebraska had, where they took the lead 31-24, we got the whole whole offense on the sideline, and we said, look, no matter what happens on this drive, no matter if they take the lead or not, that we're going to get the ball back, and we got to be composed to go out there and put a drive together, either win the game or tie the game. And so it felt like there was a lot of confidence on the sideline, and then they scored to go up 31-24, and then we got the ball, and it was just like going down the field, man. Yeah. We had plenty of time. Coach Johnson called a good game on that last drive. Steven did a good job. Receivers were getting open. Protection was great, and you could feel the momentum swing our way because on defense they were so worried about us that they couldn't even get their calls in. So it was fun to see us respond that way.
Okay, now put that one in the rearview mirror. Now you got Air Force. Can't give one back on it, and that's not going to be an easy game.
It's not going to be an easy game. It's the biggest game on their schedule, and it's the biggest game on our schedule right now because it's the next one, and it's a big in-state game. We haven't played them for a lot of years. Yep. And so I know they've had this one circled for a long time. You know, but at the end of the day, we got to worry about Colorado. We can't worry about who's on the opposite sideline. We got to handle our business, cut down on our mental mistakes, and make plays on offense and do a great job tackling on defense. If we do that, you know, we'll have a good game plan and go out there and play well.
Yeah, last time the Buffs and the Falcons played 1974-73 here in Boulder. Well, good luck this weekend.
Born yet.
Yeah, now you're making me feel old. There's the very young Darrin Chiaverini.
Yes.
I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Coming up next, by the way, it's great to be a Buff. The entire athletic department, from a team sports standpoint, undefeated. How about volleyball and soccer?
Hey, how about seeing all the red only in the stands though? No one on the field. Only black and gold on the field, man.
Amen.
That was special.
All right, volleyball and soccer coming up next. Well, there's some great images from the volleyball team, which continues to be undefeated. That was the victory over the Gauchos of Santa Barbara as they won the CU Invitational at the Event Center. One more time, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Boy, the volleyball team continues to play well. In fact, this past week, they were on the road in Iowa City, Iowa for the Pac-12 Big Ten Challenge and continued to roll. The Buffaloes swept both the Hawkeyes and the Illini. The Illini ranked number 5 in the country. And like I said, that streak continues. They're now 5-0 record on the season for the third time in school history. The Buffaloes now 15-1 in sets, a mark that they haven't matched since 2008 when they started that season 6-0, 18-1 in set wins to begin the campaign. Things are going to get tough on the Buffaloes now once again as they finally return home to take on Colorado State. That's a home and home, by the way. On Thursday, in fact, the Buffs will be up in Fort Collins at Moby Arena to take on the Rams, and then they come home on Friday to take on the Rams in those back-to-back matches. That's a 6 o'clock set time at the Event Center. Make sure you get on out there and cheer on the Buffaloes in that great rivalry. Soccer finally hits the road for the first time as they take on the defending national champions Florida State down in Florida. The Buffs are coming off a great couple of game wins over Big 12 foes. A former conference the Buffs were in. They took care of Texas, a ranked team, and most recently had a 1-0 win over Baylor. And our colleague Thad Anderson caught up with Roo Yarnell-Williams after the 1-0 victory over the Bears.
Colorado defeats Baylor 1-0 in Boulder, and the Buffaloes are 6 wins in 6 tries, unblemished at 6-0-0. Roo Yarnell-Williams, the game-winning goal in the 16th minute. Congratulations, Roo, on today's performance.
Thank you.
How about your defender, Gabby Chappa, setting you up? Tell us about the goal.
I mean, man, that was just amazing play in general. I know Taylor got the ball, and she just totally looked up, opened up her hips, and found Gabby on the outside. Gabby was working her butt off the whole entire game and totally just got down the line, looked up, and I mean, I saw us make eye contact, and I knew that we were going to get something out of it, and the header went in out of a great ball from her, so that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, you're right. Taylor Korniak had a great touch to start that. You're doing a fantastic job. Tell us about Baylor and today, and just, to me, the intensity, the physicality, this from the start was as high as we've seen this year. What did you experience on the field today?
Wow, it was very aggressive. I mean, none of the teams that I have played against yet have been that aggressive on and off the ball. You just have to dig your shoulder in and go into them, otherwise you're not going to keep the ball and get nothing out of it. So really you just have to go into the mentality that you're going to win it, and I think that's what we did today, and that's how we got our win.
So having those 4 older sisters doesn't hurt on a day like today, does it? Kind of condition you to be a little bit of a fighter. Hey, you got a road trip, your first road trip of your career now, going to Florida State, the defending national champs. What's the thought process now? You're 6-0, and here you go out on the road to Tallahassee.
I mean, we have to just go in knowing that everything is a battle and it's not over. I think Baylor was ranked number 21 and has gotten into the top 8 of the NCAA tournament, but nothing's ever over, and I definitely think it's going to be a battle. And if we keep playing and digging our shoulder in, I really think it will be a close match, and I hope we can pull off a win.
Well, all of Boulder thanks Sacramento for sending you our way. Roo, it's been a blast watching you these first 6 matches. Good job today, and good luck at Florida State.
Thank you. Go Buffs.
Well, it's certainly great to be at Colorado Buffalo as all the team sports continue to be undefeated here at CU. That soccer team takes its first road trip of the year, taking on defending national champion Florida State down in Florida. That one, by the way, will be televised on the ACC network at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Volleyball, as we mentioned, has got that home and home Thursday at Colorado State, at home on Friday at 6 o'clock. They'll take on the Rams. And don't forget, for football, looking to go 3-0 as the Buffaloes will take on the Falcons of Air Force for the first time since 1974. The Buffs and the Falcons at 11 a.m. from Folsom Field. We'll hit the air on the Colorado Football Network at 9 a.m. with the Buffalo Stampede. Thanks for joining us this week on the Buffalo Stampede. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. We'll talk to you next time.